diabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
Hi, I'm Judith Light. So there you are. It's flu season, and you're over 65 like me. You're having another busy year. So much to do, so many roles in life to play. But you feel like you might be forgetting something serious. Your annual flu shot. And before you know it, it's too late. It's not just the aches, fever, and chills that last for days and days. The flu can be life-threatening, especially if you have chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease, which can worsen with the flu. Being active and healthy alone won't protect you. The immune system weakens with age, making you more susceptible to the flu. If you're over 65, ask about your vaccine options, including one made specifically for us. An annual flu shot is the best way to help keep the flu away. Visit the National Council on Aging at ncoa.org/flu to learn more and talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccine options for people 65 and older. Again, that's ncoa.org/flu.
Talk 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Download the iRadio Now app for iPhone or Android phones. Free at your iPhone App Store or Android App Market. Take AM 1470 WWNN with you wherever you go.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the Sole Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the Sole Authority today, 954-597-7060.
Learning shouldn't stop when the school bell rings. As a parent, you're a key component to your child's education team and the key to making sure that learning never stops. I'm Andy Ford, president of the Florida Education Association. Here are a few things you can do at home to help make education and learning a priority. Talk to your child about school every day. Take your child on family outings to parks, community festivals, and local landmarks. Encourage your child to count money, calculate change, read menus, read newspapers, and write letters. Talk to your child about your family, the holidays you celebrate, and the foods you eat. Learning doesn't stop when your child gets home from school. It's just the beginning. Working together, parents and teachers can make this a successful school year for every student in Florida.
A message from the Florida Education Association. Great public schools are a basic right for every student.
America's service members and veterans are strong, forged out of bravery, sacrifice, and duty. Sometimes reaching out for help can be the most challenging and worthwhile mission of all. When you recognize something isn't right, make the call to the Veterans Crisis Line or Military Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1. Or chat online at veteranscrisisline.net or text 838-255.
What you want to know. What you need to know.
Talk 1470. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we usually do, we're going to talk a bunch of golf and some travel, and I've got some neat travel news for you, some awesome deals that we'll tell you about a little bit later in the show to go to places all over this world. And we do have a great guest with us. Just in a few minutes, we will be chatting with Joe Kern. Joe is the head professional at the Indian River Club up in the Vero Beach area. beautiful, beautiful private country club. And they are going to be the host of a really cool event, a charity event that is going to be benefiting a place that I really like, which is the Sunrise Theater. And actually, it's the Sunrise Theater Foundation Education and Outreach Program, which is a program that enables kids to go see shows at the theater and wonderful enrichment for the kids. Me personally, I like to see some good concerts there myself, but it's a beautiful facility, and this golf course is a beautiful facility as well. And we're going to be talking to Joe in just a couple of minutes, and we'll find out more about that event. But like we usually do, we like to talk a little bit of golf first, and then we kind of move into travel later in the show. And first of all, just want to let everybody know what a beautiful day it is here in Boca Raton, Florida. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's out in Colorado, and he was thinking that we're getting hit with some sort of hurricane, and fortunately we're not. Other people in the state were not as fortunate, so I know that there's some folks that are struggling perhaps with some floods or a lack of power. I know the folks in the Big Bend area, Tallahassee, I know a couple of 100,000 people without power, so hopefully they'll get that worked out. Living in the tropics, it's good almost all the time, and every once in a while. Although I guess this was the first hurricane in about 10 or 11 years to hit Florida. So that's not too bad, but this looks like it might be a bit of an active season. And, of course, the storm is heading up the coast, so there'll be some rain, and don't know how that's going to affect everybody's golf games. But in any event, I've been watching a little bit of golf. I was watching the golf last week at Bethpage, and that got me in the mood to play Bethpage. I'm thinking about actually going up there. I will be going up to New York, and I was going to play one of the golf courses at Bethpage State Park. And looking at the black, oh man, it looks awfully tempting to me. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I will be playing just actually a few days before I head to New York in the 6th annual charity golf tournament for the Wheels for Kids. And that is on Sunday, September 18th. We're one of the sponsors at that event. That is going to be at the Atlantis Country Club in Atlantis, Florida. And for more information about that event, if you'd like to play in it or if you'd like to sponsor it, you can call Marcus at 561-376-1538, or you can drop an email to golf@wheelsforkids.org, and you can sign up to play. It's $120 a person. That's Sunday, September 18th in the morning. Or if you want to sponsor the event, call Denise from Wheels for Kids at 561-577-3800, or drop her a line, Denise at wheelsforkids.org. Like I said, I'm going to be there with my team, and hopefully I'll see you there as well. There's nothing better than playing golf in the beautiful Florida weather on a great golf course and supporting a great cause. And that's obviously we got two great causes that same weekend in different areas. So hopefully some of you will go one direction and some of you will go in the other direction that weekend. Or maybe if you're really brave, you'll play the whole weekend in two events. So that would be even cooler. Another thing that we've been talking about for a while, and it's upon us right now, actually, and that's the FedEx Cup, of course. So they got things started last week, and now this week they're at the Deutsche Bank Championship up in Boston. And there's a lot of money at stake, of course. Being the champion, the FedEx Cup, it's a $10 million bonus that you get. So there's a lot at stake. And, when the golf season starts to wind down, you think it's all over. And just when you thought it's all over, there's more. It's golf is, there's just so much good golf. And, we've heard plenty about the players and their schedule being too packed, and they can't all play in every event. And they obviously have to pick and choose where they're going to take their breaks so that they don't wear out. But the good news is there's so much talent on the tour that even when a few guys aren't playing, there's so many, other great players. You still don't know who's going to win. It could be anybody. It could be the big names. It could be another up-and-comer, first-time winner. So it's really interesting to watch. And, the Olympics was really cool. The FedEx Cup is very interesting. There's a lot at stake. But the event that I think we're all looking forward to is also just right around the corner, maybe about 4 weeks or so away. And that, of course, would be the Ryder Cup. And unfortunately, we haven't fared so well lately. We've lost 3 straight times, the U.S. team, to the European team. And we spoke about it a ways back. Phil Mickelson got involved. They changed the way that they picked the team. try and have the players have more feedback and input and a little bit more of a team feeling. It seems the players in Europe, they just gel as a team better than we do. Our players are just so used to playing as individuals, I guess, that they haven't really grasped that team concept just yet. But our team was picked. Captain Davis Love III, he made his picks for the U.S. team, and it's going to be Patrick Reed, Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, Jordan Spieth, Jimmy Walker, Brooks Koepka, Brett Snedeker, and Zach Johnson. So those are the 8 that were the top 8 point getters, so they're automatically on the team. But now Davis has an opportunity to pick 3 more players very, very soon, and then 1 more player right before, just like a week or so before the event. And he recently made the announcement that he is going to lean on the players that played their way onto the team, the top 8, to help him with the captain's picks. So, again, I think this is a new strategy that they kind of worked out, that, there'll just be more involvement. Now, we also have the advantage of knowing who the European team already is. So they only had 3 picks, and Darren Clarke, their captain, he picked with his captain's picks, his own picks. He didn't leave it to the team as far as I know, and that was Lee Westwood, Martin Keimer, and Thomas Pieters. So they're going to join the guys that already made it on their own in points, which would be Rory McIlroy, Henrik Stenson, Sergio Garcia, Justin Rose, Rafael Cabrera Bello, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Andy Sullivan, Danny Willett, and Chris Wood. And the fact that they have already made it be known who their players are, it gives us a tremendous advantage, because a lot of the strategy here is based on the matchups, who plays against who. So us having that knowledge of who they already have on their team and giving us an opportunity to kind of craft our team based on these matchups, it should be really interesting. And of course, we're playing at Hazeltine on our home territory here, so it would be really unfortunate if we were to lose a 4th straight time with all that's gone into the planning of this and attempting to make things right and fix it all. And of course, as we saw in the Olympics, that watching golf is wonderful and watching the players play for themselves is great, but being able to cheer for the United States as opposed to only a player is very, very cool. So we got to see it in Rio, and now we're going to get to see it again in Hazeltine. And I'm looking forward to it quite a bit, if you can't tell. The only thing better than playing yourself, I suppose, is getting to watch really, really good golf on TV or playing in a charity event. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that. This weekend, of course, it's a Labor Day weekend, which is always nice. It's nice to have the long 3-day weekend. It's nice to have the short 4-day week next week. So hopefully some of you will be getting out there and playing golf. But if you are not, if the weather isn't great where you are, of course, you could watch the Deutsche Bank Championship this weekend, as well as the Manulife on the LPGA Tour. They're playing in Ontario, Canada at Whistle Bear. And on the Champions Tour, they're in Canada as well, but further out west in Calgary, Alberta, playing at the Canyon Meadows Golf and Country Club. So there will be no shortage of golf whatsoever. I also recently was surprised. I got a message from folks at web.com. Now, web.com is the tour that the PGA Tour runs right below the PGA Tour. So that's where the up-and-comers go, kind of, the AAA equivalent from baseball, but for golf. So for the most part, it's younger players who are up-and-comers, or perhaps older players that have been kicking around, or PGA teaching pros that later in life decided to give it a shot. You don't know. There's a mix of guys out there, but there's very, very high level golf. I was fortunate to play in one of the Pro-Ams a couple of years back at the Miccosukee Golf Course down west of Miami, and it was a great experience. And I just got this invitation from the folks at web.com to play in the Pro-Am at their Tour Championship in Atlantic Beach, Florida, which is right near the ocean, just west of Jacksonville. When I played at the Miccosukee event, my playing partner was Arjun Atwal, who did go on to win on the PGA Tour as well. So it's always very neat when you can play in a Pro-Am and play with an up-and-coming pro, and then one day you watch him on TV winning a PGA Tour event, and you can say, hey, that was my playing partner one day. My game, of course, is not up to the level of their game, but they're always very, very gracious, the players, whether it's on the PGA Tour or the LPGA or the Web.com Tour, Champions Tour, the Pro-Ams. They understand that they need to work with the fans. They understand that the tour is supporting of many, many charitable groups in the area, and the Pro-Ams raise all sorts of money for charity. So they're very, very gracious. They're there obviously to be practicing for an event, and that's how they make their living, these guys. So it means a lot to them, and they still allow hackers like myself to go out there and join them just to have a thrill. So I encourage anybody who's listening, if you ever have an opportunity to get to play in one of these Pro-Ams for any of the events nearby where you are, or even if you want to travel somewhere, it's if you're lucky, somebody who gives you an invite, which is always the best way. And if not, it costs a few bucks, but it's an experience that you'll never forget. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get a word from our sponsor, and then we're going to be back, and we're going to be talking to Joe Kern, the head professional from the Indian River Club. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. And we are back. And our sponsor, Labor Finders, who sometimes likes to say that this weekend is Labor Finders Day weekend. But if your business needs industrial workers, or if you're looking for work, you gotta call Labor Finders, because Labor Finders places for temporary or temporary to hire opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, hospitality workers, office clerical, and so much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near here in Boca Raton, they have offices in Homestead, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and in Jupiter. So if you need legal, insured workers, or if you want to work, call Labor Finders toll free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or visit laborfinders.com.
I'd like to dedicate this song to little Junior Parker, a cousin of mine that's gone on, but we'd like to kind of carry on in his name. I sang, I don't know why I love you like I do.
And we are back. A little bit of Reverend Al Green there, Take Me to the River. And we were planning on talking to Joe Kern about this event, and maybe he decided to start the holiday weekend a little bit early. I don't know. But since it's my show, I think I can take the liberty to take over for him, because I could do stuff like that. So what I want to do is tell you a little bit about this event that I heard about. I wanted to share with you because it's a place that I just really appreciate, and they do great things in the community for folks like myself, as well as the little kids who are still in school, and that would be the Sunrise Theater for the Performing Arts. It's up in Fort Pierce, incredible vintage historic theater that they put a lot of money into renovating and bringing it back to its original splendor. And a great place to see a concert. I have seen recently, who did I see there? The Doobie Brothers I saw there. I saw, I've seen so many shows there. I can only remember. It would be wonderful. But I always enjoy it. I love to sit there, right there in the orchestra. It's like you're being right on the stage. It's a small theater. It's very, very intimate. And better than that, what they do is for the kids, they have what they call the Sunrise Theater Foundation Education and Outreach Program. So the kinds of shows that they have for adults, they often have shows for kids or special performances, perhaps, of what, some of the theater plays, productions that they may have in the evening, where the kids could go see and they can get some education in the arts and the theater arts. And it's just a wonderful thing. But obviously it takes money to do that. So in order to raise some money, they decided to have this little golf tournament. And it is called the 2016 Sunrise Theater Foundation Golf Tournament. It is on Saturday, September 17th. And it's at the Indian River Club, which back in a year or so ago, it was named the best golf course on the Treasure Coast. And I know we're a little bit further south. I live up that way. But for those of you who don't know it, there are some beautiful golf courses up there on the Treasure Coast. So if you've never played this one, you want to. It's $125 per player or $500 for a team. It's going to be a scramble. And, of course, there's going to be food and prizes and a silent auction as well. So it's the kind of event that you certainly won't want to miss. As I said earlier, the only thing better than being out there on the golf course, playing a beautiful course on a nice day, is to be raising some money for kids who really need it. These kids are actually in a very, very wide area that they serve. They come from St. Lucie, Indian River, Okeechobee, and Martin County. So basically the entire Treasure Coast area. And, it's a lot of these kids go on to become performers themselves. They get inspired. So it's very, very cool. If you're interested in playing in this event, or if you're interested in being a sponsor, they are looking for sponsors as well. They got some very, very creative sponsorship packages that you could take advantage of, and they're really cool the way they name them as well. For instance, the least expensive one is if you want to have a T sign on the course, it's $100. It's the Tony Bennett package, and it goes all the way up to, if you would like the Sunrise Spectacular, you get 8 entries and 8 dozen logoed Pro V1 balls, a banner in the clubhouse, your name on all the cart signs, the scoreboard, preferred starting hole for both your teams, names on the official route sheet, on and on and on and on, and that costs, well, a little bit more. But in any event, if you would like to register or inquire about sponsorships, you can give Michael Horowitz a call at 772-696-0487. That's Michael Horowitz at 772-696-0487. Or you can send an email to Stacy, that's STACEY, at sunrisetheaterfoundation.com. And theater is TRE, not TER. I think that's the way the folks in Europe maybe pronounce it, like theater or something like that. But in any event, it's a great event. And, just to give you a heads up on some of the shows that they have up there. So even if you can't play in the tournament, you might want to support this wonderful theater because, it's just really cool. So just a couple of things that are coming up soon. September 16th, The Legends of Rock, featuring Jefferson Starship, Mark Farner, formerly of Grand Funk Railroad, Rick Derringer, famous for Hang On Sloopy, and Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, Devil with the Blue Dress. Let's see, what else do they have? They've got all sorts of comedy shows as well, like An Evening with Mark Russell, if you're into the political satire. Of course, it's an election year, so he's been doing that since, I think, the beginning of time. That's on Sunday, October 16th. Bobby Collins, comedian, in their Black Box, which is a smaller theater that they have up there, on Saturday, November 17th. Starting off the Christmas season on November 30th, Wednesday, Dave Kaw's Christmas tour for 2016 with special guest Jonathan Butler. I know he tours with him like every Christmas. And also Kenny Lattimore, and from Ashford and Simpson, Valerie Simpson. She's a wonderful singer. How about another Christmas show, December 1st, Ye Old English Christmas, with none other than Peter Noon from Herman's Hermits. He will be singing Christmas songs as well as some of the famous hits that he did with Herman's Hermits, like Henry VIII, I Am. The Oak Ridge Boys are doing a Christmas show on December 11th at the Sunrise Theater. An Evening with Garrison Keillor, Late Night Catechism. The list goes on and on. How about Arlo Guthrie in January? I always like to see him around Thanksgiving time. That's the best when he does Alice's Restaurant for Thanksgiving. That doesn't get any better than that. So those are all just wonderful shows. SunriseTheaterRE.com, and you can find out more information about the shows. All right, I think what we're going to do is we're going to switch gears a little bit now and move from our golf segment and start talking a little bit of travel. There's a lot of travel news out there. I like to kind of sort through all of it so that you don't have to. and, make sure that you've got all the news that I think is important for you to have, at least. And then, of course, a little bit later in the show, we've got plenty of deals for you, Dan's deals. So you won't want to miss that either. An interesting story that I saw, let's talk a little bit about air travel first. It's obviously always something that we all like to talk about, the good, the bad, the ugly. I make sure to let you know all of it, and today's is no different. I've got some really, really good stories about air travel, and then, some not so good as well. But the good news is when you know about the not so good, you're prepared for it. You can avoid it perhaps, or you can learn how to deal with it without freaking out about it. So the good news is that there was a study recently done, a statistical analysis, and it seems that air travel right now is safer than it's ever been before. And, of course, it might not seem that way to you because folks like me in the media, we're busy telling you about all the stories that are especially the bad ones, too. And with social media and just cable news and, when accidents with airlines happen, it's just covered in depth, stuff that you maybe never would have heard about in the past. So, but it seems that there's actually the percentage of accidents has gone down significantly. And they attribute it to the way that airplanes are being built, that they're much safer. I know just the other day on Southwest, my favorite airline, they had an issue where one of their engines blew out, and it was a major failure. And the people were certainly afraid, and they thought they were all going to die. Yet the pilot was able to bring that plane down safe and sound without any incident. So planes in the past, when they might have had problems, did not survive. And now, due to the way that they're built, so much stronger and so much more redundancy. So if something like an engine failure happens, they're still able to handle that. So, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people are nervous about flying, and I think, this kind of points out that you maybe don't need to be nervous about flying. It's a lot safer than you might think. As far as the not so good, here's a story that I just saw in the news today. It was all over the news. I happened to catch it in the USA Today. And it seems that actress Emily DeRaven, who personally I'm not all that familiar with her work, but she's right now starring on ABC's Once Upon a Time. And it seems that she was traveling on American Airlines, and she had with her a package in a bag, and inside of it was breast milk for her baby. And it seems that a airline attendant kind of grabbed it out of her hand forcefully and wouldn't let her take it on the plane, thinking that it was an additional carry-on that she wasn't allowed to have. But that falls under medicinal allotment where it doesn't affect anything, and she knew her rights, and this woman was just extremely rude. So she tweeted out that American Airlines needs to fire this person. So she did go on further, though, to comment that the flight itself was wonderful and the pilot kind of came to her aid and helped her out, so everybody else was okay. But in the world of social media these days, people are empowered. And if service is really horrific, or, people are going to talk about it, and there can be repercussions. So I don't know if this flight attendant is going to end up losing her job as a result of what happened here, but it certainly, it's not good for publicity for American Airlines. And again, it's just one bad employee, but I'm still hurting myself from the time that I kind of got bumped by American, and they blamed it on me, and it was just a total fiasco. They were lying to me and like 7 other people. So I haven't quite forgiven them for that yet. So if somebody says that they were treated poorly by American Airlines, I tend to believe them, because it happened to me too. So it's unfortunate. So like I say, this segment we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I guess that was bad and ugly. Also in the news, an airport that I was at not so long ago, and I do frequent from time to time, but I'm thinking I might try and avoid it for the time being, and perhaps you should too. And this is in New York. If you're flying to New York, you've got many choices in the metropolitan area. Of course, you've got Newark, and you've got JFK, and you've got LaGuardia. I'm flying in and out of, my next trip to New York, Islip. So there's another option. Of course, there's Westchester as well. But LaGuardia is a very busy airport, not known to be the safest airport. Talking about safe, their runways are extremely small and congested. You come right over the water and you hit the runway real quick. And if you're on a fast plane that's coming in quick, you don't have a very long runway to stop. So, I know the pilots are very